This video is sponsored by Surfshark.
The OnePlus 15 and Pixel 10 are both high-end smartphones in their own right, but where the latter has a serious on-paper disadvantage, the latter leans so hard into particular specs, it might actually be giving it a disadvantage. So let's talk about that in today's very strange head-to-head. Hey guys, I'm Ryan Thomas, and spoiler alert, these two probably shouldn't be as close as they are, but it's because they swing in such wildly different directions that I actually think they kind of cancel each other out. Let me explain. See, if you spent any real length of time on the spec pages, you'll know that OnePlus just absolutely wipes the floor with Google on its Pixel 10. Heck, even the Pixel 10 Pro XL for that matter. But when you use these side by side, in person, and when you just forget about the numbers for a minute, things get crazy close, and that's where the magic is here. So let me talk more about that after a quick word from today's sponsor.
What's almost become a staple of a mobile phone toolkit these days has to be a VPN. And not only does Surfshark work on our beloved Android, but also macOS, iOS, Windows, and more, Surfshark lets you activate on unlimited devices and access servers across 100 locations worldwide. It not only allows you to secure your connection via tunneling your traffic, but it also lets you use websites that are typically geo-locked or even access content that's only available on other versions of services like Netflix. Or if you're a Premier League fan like me, being able to go on holiday and log into the normal services you typically watch the game on is so easy with Surfshark. There are different plans to suit your use case, so check out the link in the video description to see what works best for you and to get Surfshark for yourself. And a big thanks to Surfshark for sponsoring today's content.
So here's the deal, the OnePlus 15 is a power user's phone. It has a Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5 and 12 or 16 gigs of RAM that really do put a shift in when you need them to. If you're the kind of person who spends all day playing games on your phone, or you're just one of those 9 hours of screen on time people, the OnePlus 15 is your guy. Its 7300 mAh battery, 120 watt fast charging, bigger, higher res screen, sometimes higher refresh rate as well, are all there to help you do what you want to do as fast and as smoothly as possible. So benchmarking these two back to back, it just looks like they're two different classes of phone. But I think where people go wrong with this comparison is making OnePlus the standard, and then the Pixel can't keep up with that, when in reality, the Pixel is the standard and the OnePlus just kind of runs away with it. Really for the top sort of 0.1% of Android users. Sure, the Pixel 10 is not at that level, but for most people, and I mean including enthusiasts as well sometimes, I'm counting myself in here, the Pixel 10 is more than enough phone. It can play those higher end 3D games pretty well actually, to a standard that I'm personally happy with, and I play esports titles. The benchmark numbers don't do this phone justice whatsoever. If you're a doom scroller or anything else really, the Pixel 10 is absolutely good enough, but that OnePlus is just another level. Google's software is also more comprehensive, and I think of a higher quality as well regarding the inclusions of AI versus what OnePlus is doing right now. And the user experience of both is very good, don't get me wrong, but I just think that Google's version of Android is maybe the best version of Android right now. It will also get a couple more years of software updates compared to the OnePlus, which should help with long-term app compatibility long after your contract has ended. But the Pixel's screen is smaller, its battery much less capacious, and its charging doesn't even show up for this kind of race. It's fine if you're a normal smartphone user because, whilst these things do make a difference, they aren't going to be game changers for any but maybe the top 1% of Android users. The Pixel 10's battery gets me through a full day every single time, where the OnePlus 15 gets me through 2 days. But then things swing violently the other way in the screens where, yeah, sure, the OnePlus's panel looks better on paper, but in reality, the Pixel's display just looks a level above what OnePlus is doing right now. The color tuning is perhaps the best with the more recent Pixels, and in max manual brightness, the Google phone also just delivers a brighter image. It's only when you go into HDR content that OnePlus pulls ahead in its brightness, but it also just doesn't look quite as good either with its tonality. I think playing a few select games, the 165Hz mode kicks in on the OnePlus and looks decent, but again, very specific power user type scenarios that favor the OnePlus. Both phones are built to a ridiculously high standard. Obviously the Pixel is a good amount smaller, so it's a bit less ideal for gaming and content consumption, but it is easier to get in and out of your pocket and will fit more people's hands. It also doesn't have IP69K, which the OnePlus has. I'm not sure just how much of this stuff is actually going to make a difference to you, but for power users, again, the OnePlus comes out on top. I will say the OnePlus looks a level above in my personal opinion because of its super thin bezels, its slick new camera housing on the back. The matte coating I think feels absolutely fantastic, really helps grip the phone as well. And I think the OnePlus might feel just that bit more upmarket. And then we get to the cameras. Now these two phones have both downgraded their sensors on their predecessors, which is crazy to say in 2025, but there you go. Then of course Google has added that 5x telephoto camera to the mix, which it didn't have in last year's phone, so we can kind of more broadly compare them. And I think generally speaking, both cameras struggle in low light compared to the models that pack beefier hardware, though there is a good amount of back and forth in most of these tests, all kinds of conditions actually. Where once the Pixel would kind of really lose badly in its hardware, Google has used its computational photography chops to really deliver photos that for the most part I would say look more natural than what OnePlus is producing, and that's been a staple characteristic of Pixel photos for a very long time now. Where OnePlus employs a 3.5x zoom at 50 megapixels, Google's phone delivers a 5x zoom at 10.8 megapixels. So I've done my best to kind of match the focal lengths with these, but it hasn't always been the case, it hasn't always been perfect lineups here. OnePlus's photos on the surface seem sharper, but it's mostly because when zooming in, there is a lot of artificial sharpening going on. It's not in every single scenario, not every single photo is going to look like this, but at times it is quite jarring with the artifacts and details that you didn't see in person yourself. And unlike Google's more expensive phones where the AI makes details look uncannily natural, the 15 can't really keep up with that kind of thing. And sure, it zooms up way higher to 120 times versus the Pixel's 30, but I'm not sure I'd like any of these photos beyond 10 to 15 times on either phone. And in video, both offer really good image quality. I think Google probably edges it in the raw quality, just due to how natural things look, where OnePlus offers, of course, 8K video and 4K 120, and OnePlus Log for better recording options. And because Google hasn't implemented any of that on its Pixel 10, I really have to give this one to OnePlus. Overall, this is really a lot closer than you think it is, because whilst yes, OnePlus offers more grunt with the 15, more power, more longevity, more physical hardware, Google offers the more comprehensive experience. And at times this year, I have seen the Pixel 10 for $600, 60% of the price of the OnePlus. If you're a power user, the OnePlus 15 is a no-brainer. But if you're looking for a high-quality Android smartphone and you're happy to settle with all-day battery life and solid performance instead of 2-day battery life and elite performance, you're better off saving your money and going with the Pixel this time around. I know for a fact this video is about to cause a war in the comments. Oh, you're so wrong, you're comparing the wrong class of phones, blah blah blah. I actually think this is quite a valid comparison and it kind of proves that specs don't matter that much. I'm sure that's also got the keyboard warriors going, so yeah, let me know what you think in the comments, and whilst you're down there, please do be sure to like if you enjoyed today's video and subscribe to never miss another upload. Thank you all so much for watching. I've been Ryan Thomas and I will catch you later. Cheers.